Let's get started. Welcome to this session about data analysis and data analytics. My name is Alejandro Gutierrez. I'm an assistant professor at the McGill School of Continuing Studies, and I'm the academic program coordinator of two programs that we will talk about today. And today we have also the participation of a student advisor or parent advisor, Robert. Robert, can you introduce yourself?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, sir. Hi, everyone. My name is Robert Gergis. I'm one of the program advising administrators here at the school, and our role here is more the administrative side, so understanding deadlines, assisting you with course registration, any of the technical administrative issues you have. We also have career services where we can help you with your CV, help you with your LinkedIn profile if you're transitioning careers and looking to kind of pivot in. So I'm glad to be here today.
Excellent. Well, thank you, Robert, for joining us. And well, today's session, the main idea is to talk about the two grad certificate programs. One is called Data Analysis for Complex Systems, and the second is Data-Driven Decision Making, and tell you all about the courses, the instructors, the structure, some main characteristics about these two programs, and talk about some connections that in terms of the positions that you can perform or the roles they can take after completing these two grad certificates, and some other interesting things happening in the data analytics space that you might want to be exploring and you want to review in connection to these two main topics, data analytics and data analysis. So let's get started. You should see my screen. Well, today's agenda is, well, just to give you a sense of what we are talking about specifically when we say data analytics and complex systems in terms of the programs that we will talk about today. Then we will go deeper into the two programs, the structure, the requirements, the courses, which one is the right option for you depending on your experience, depending on your interest. We will talk about how these programs are delivered, the main software tools we use in both programs. I will show you a little information about the instructors, and then we'll do a Q&A portion in case that you have any questions related to the content or that we cover in these programs, or related to the administrative steps you need to take in order to be ready for the next term. Okay? And you can feel free to write any questions in the chat. We will be either integrating them as we progress, or we will answer them at the end of today's session. Okay, so again, just to give you a sense of what we are talking about when we say data analytics and complex systems, I wanted to give you some ideas. I have some ideas that I wanted to share with you in terms of the relevance of these topics in today's world, to show you or talk about a few applications, the kinds of industries, fields that benefit from using analytics and understanding what complex systems are all about. And well, to do that, I really want to share with you this definition of what analytics refers to from an organization, a professional organization called Informs. And this definition talks about the application of scientific and mathematical methods to study and analysis of problems involving complex systems. So here we have in one sentence many different important topics that are relevant for analytics. One is the mathematical element of the techniques we use to analyze data. That's one important aspect of this definition. The other that I really like is this scientific component. So it's not about the ideas of a manager that we want to implement. Is really what the data and the science is telling you that the company should do or the organization should do to when analyzing data. So that's a very interesting connection. It's not just the beliefs of a person, the beliefs of we might have. It's what using science, how can we identify the patterns? How can we be certain that what we are proposing is correct? So that's very powerful. The other element that I really like about this definition is that it talks about this complex system element, which is not very common in the definitions of analytics. And the reason why I think it's really relevant is because we live in an increasingly complex world. We have every day we have new technologies, new actors, new elements coming into play when making decisions. So knowing how to integrate these technologies, elements, actors into our decision process is extremely relevant for today's world and environments. So that's, I think, from my point of view, one of the main advantages of this view of analytics from the perspective of integrating complex systems into the decision process. And actually, that this idea of integrating complex systems as a frame of reference or as a way of thinking when making decisions is something that we incentivize and have included as part of the grad certificates that we will discuss today. And well, as a follow-up definition, to have some sense of what we are talking about in these grad certificates, well, I think another star or another key element is complex system. And complex systems have also multiple definitions. Complex systems have different characteristics. One of them is nonlinearity, delays, well, feedback loops, interconnection. So these are different aspects that describe or can be used to describe or identify complex systems. At the core, what we are talking about are networks of components interacting with each other in multiple ways. So basically, you are talking about actors, stakeholders, technologies, decisions interacting with each other that create the emergence of certain behaviors or certain patterns. And without going into much more technical detail, I just want to highlight the picture that is on the right side. Well, it's a picture of a city at a very high level, like at what you would see at maybe higher than an helicopter, like maybe at a plane level. And a city is an example of a complex system that can be analyzed at different levels. And inside of the city, we have hundreds, if not thousands of different smaller complex systems that are interacting with each other. Examples of these complex systems that are happening in cities, well, could be, for example, traffic jams, could be how certain neighborhoods start to gain more attraction or get more interest from the citizens. And why is that happening? If there are other neighborhoods, what factors can explain these kinds of peaks of attraction in certain areas of the cities? Well, we can use analytics to explain complex systems like that and try to understand the factors that are driving these important neighborhoods. We can also see why certain cities experience boom and bust behavior using techniques for complex systems. And well, this is just a small sample of many different kinds of problems that cities experience that are rooted in the complexity of the interconnection of the actors or elements that are uh, in the city. But this is just a place where we can see complex systems. Complex systems occur also in organizations where there are multiple policies, multiple departments fighting for resources, making decisions. Well, same with hospitals, non-for-profits. The list is honestly quite large. And the nice thing about understanding complex systems is that it gives you kind of a superpower. It allows you to see these interconnections and explain them using mathematics, data, algorithms, and some principles that can be learned to study complex systems. So definitely it's a very interesting area that can power your decision making abilities by introducing or adding this complex system layer into everything you do or everything you need to make decisions about, because it allows you to see things from the perspective of not from the perspective of the 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 interconnections of the different elements or factors that could play a role in the decision or in the result. So definitely very interesting space. In terms of where you can find application areas of this idea of complex systems and data analytics, there is a long list. You see it in general businesses and supply chain, public health and epidemiology, urban planning and transportation, finance and economics, climate and environment, education and learning, social systems and policy, and disaster management and emergency response. So the list of places where you need people that have the skills to analyze data and have this perspective or framework that comes from complex systems or systems thinking, it's quite large. And this is not an exhaustive list. This is just like the main areas where you see a lot of examples, applications of the kinds of techniques and methods we cover in the grad certificates that we will discuss today. So definitely very interesting space, lots of applications, lots of techniques coming from mathematics and the scientific domain to make better decisions at the end of the day, so we can optimize the behavior, the decisions in all these types of organizations and industries. Going specifically about what kinds of things can we do with analytics in all these spaces, well, we typically use this diagram or this figure to categorize some of the main kinds of applications. And this is just to give you an idea of things that you will be able to do after starting the grad certificates that we have designed for you. First, we need to understand what has happened in the past, what is recorded in the data. And to do that, we need to identify patterns. We need to describe the data in different ways. We need to visualize the data to make sure that the data is correct. And to do all that, well, we look at techniques that come from descriptive analytics. And these techniques can vary in terms of the difficulty level. You can do first descriptive analysis just with calculating a few metrics, visualizing the data in a few different ways, and that could be a good starting point, but it does give you a lot of opportunity to learn, because there are multiple ways we can visualize the data. So is there a better way that we should follow? Well, we go into that in these grad certificate programs. We go into how to properly visualize data, how to present information so people can really understand the patterns that have occurred in the past or that we are analyzing. We also go into, well, the tools we can use to do this kind of descriptive analysis, into the methods that we typically need to use depending on the data type. So a lot of interesting things can be done at this first step or stage, that is just describing what happened. Well, once you have that under control, and you are certain that the data is relevant and it's has no problems or mistakes, or you have solved them, and we also cover how to solve those problems with the data in the grad certificates, you can start looking at more sophisticated techniques. Well, the next level would be finding relationships between the the data elements that we are analyzing, finding the reasons why certain things are happening in the data or in the behavior that we are analyzing. And to do that, you have techniques like correlation analysis, linear regression models, design of experiments, to understand really what were the drivers, what could be the main causes that are driving a decision or could be affecting a decision. After that, you can move into even more sophisticated techniques that allow you to predict what will happen. And as part of that space, you can look at techniques that come from the fields of artificial intelligence and machine learning, which are two very popular branches or fields of analytics. And we have, as part of these grad certificates, one course that specializes you in data science, because creating these kind of models that allow you to predict the future can be quite sophisticated from a data analysis point of view. You need to know to analyze the data and convert it into a mathematical formula or some sort of model that will allow you to predict the future. So that means that you need to know how to evaluate the models. You need to know how to transform the data so it fits the purpose of the model. You need to know what models are out there that you could use. So lots of interesting topics and decisions that we cover as part of these grad certificates. And lastly, you have also the option to even go more sophisticated than that, not just predicting the future, but see how future decisions, future scenarios could have a potential impact, and try to maximize the benefits and minimize the impacts of the decision. At that stage, you are moving into what is called prescriptive analytics. And in order to achieve this kind of analytics, you do need a special set of techniques and softwares. Sometimes those softwares are simulation softwares. Sometimes are specialized techniques that allows you to optimize decisions. And as part of these grad certificates, we also cover at least a high-level view of what can be done when dealing with prescriptive analytics and optimizing decisions. So lots of interesting applications. We cover the whole range of applications in these grad certificates. We cover a quite considerable amount of methods and techniques that will allow you to achieve these 4 objectives: describing, finding connections, predicting the future, and optimizing decisions. And this is just to give you a sample of some of the things that you will be able to do after starting the grad certificates. And we will go as part of in each course into enough detail so you can actually develop your own solutions and apply the knowledge to your own problems and industries. So that's very interesting and a good reason why the course that I will show you can be very relevant for many of you. In terms of the programs that we have designed, well, we have two programs, as I mentioned. One is the Graduate Certificate in Data Analysis for Complex Systems. The idea of this grad certificate is give you an understanding and the ability to analyze complex systems using mathematics, algorithms, and models. I would summarize it with these ideas. It's open to professionals with a bachelor degree in any discipline. So the main requirement to study this program is that you do have an undergrad degree. And at the end of it, you will have working knowledge in data analysis and data analytics. So you will understand what these techniques are all about. You will be able to determine if you're working with a complex system and what techniques can you use for the complex system that you need to study, analyze. You will see a huge range of methods that are relevant for performing descriptive, diagnostic, predictive, and prescriptive analytics. And you will be able to work in many roles that require data analysis at the core. I will give you a list of those roles and positions, but at the end of this first grad cert, you should be able to analyze a data set, come up with decisions, come up with solutions, and present them to different stakeholders. If you already have experience analyzing data as part of your current or past work experience, there is a second level grad certificate, which is called data-driven decision making. The idea of this second grad certificate is to go deeper into three specific branches of analytics. The branches are decision making, data science, and artificial intelligence. In this grad certificate, we go one step deeper into understanding all the considerations that need to happen when using these three types of analytics. This is a good entry point for anyone that is already a junior data analyst, maybe even a junior data scientist that would like to keep developing their skills. But it does require that you already are familiar with data analysis and the tools that we use typically for data analysis, and I will also mention later today. At the end of this second grad certificate, you will have advanced knowledge in data analysis and data analytics. And for those of you who start with the first grad certificate, once you have completed at least, I don't remember if it's 3 or 4 courses from the first grad certificate, you can move into the second grad certificate and continue studying the advanced courses as part of your learning path. So these are the two programs that we currently have at the grad certificate level. These are great options for someone that is new to data analysis and would like to start developing their expertise. And for them, the DAX program will be the best option. And for those of you who are already working with data as part of their roles, and for them, the second grad certificate will be the best starting point to study a graduate certificate at McGill SES related to data analytics and data analysis. We do have other grad certificates, and if you are interested in other topics, happy to connect you with the right APC. But for topics related to data analysis and data analytics at the grad certificate level, this will be the two programs that I would suggest you review in detail. We do have also other programs at the what we call non-credit PDC, as a non-credit PDC or professional development certificate. So we also have other kinds of offerings related to data, but those are not credit programs or are not at the graduate level. For us, graduate level means that you already have a bachelor and that you would like to keep developing your expertise after that bachelor degree. And in this case, again, because these are open to all undergraduate degrees, these are very flexible options for all of you. It doesn't matter if you study a bachelor in education or literature. Well, in this case, we don't have, you don't need to have a special, you don't need to come from a special discipline. We have the programs that we design were structured in a way that will allow you to gradually learn the tools, the topics, so you can be ready to analyze data at the end. Okay, moving on. Some reasons why we believe these programs are great options for you is, well, one, as I mentioned, open to all academic and professional backgrounds. This will allow you to either leverage data in your current role or help you transition into a more data-focused career. In the programs, we do cover a wide range of techniques and real-world applications. So it's not just about the theory, it's how we can use the theory to make better decisions. These are both delivered in fully online mode by experienced instructors, experts in their fields. And these programs allow you to complete and apply research project where you will be able to bring your own data, analyze it, guided by a member from the faculty team, and you will be able to apply any technique that you are particularly interested in from the program into your own domain, into your own space, and get feedback from the application and from the in terms of your application and in terms of the insight that you will likely be sharing with colleagues or within your organization. So great opportunities for all of you and to apply what you will be learning in these grad certificates. In terms of the program structure, these are graduate level certificates. Both of them are 15 credit programs made of 5 3-credit courses. So both of them have the same structure in terms of number of courses you need to complete and in terms of credits that you will gain from each one of these grad certificates. These are programs designed to be taken as part-time studies. We typically expect you to take either 1 or 2 courses per term, which will allow you to take other commitments to keep working without, it won't disrupt any other previous commitments you might have. The courses take place once a week for 13 weeks, typically. There is a compressed version that happens in the summer, but we typically follow the 13-week structure once a week. These are online sessions that are held between 6 to 9 p.m. So that's also another reason why this program allows you to have a regular daytime job and then add your studies in the afternoons. Attendance is recommended, but it's not mandatory. We do record the live online sessions. So if you, for whatever reason, cannot attend, you will be able to watch the recording session and submit whatever work was completed as part of that online session. And well, because it's online, you can participate from anywhere within Canada or outside Canada. Depending on where are you participating from, you will have different fees. You can check that in the program page, depending if you live in Quebec or if you live in other provinces, you will see different tuition fees. So just keep that in mind. In terms of the programs, as I mentioned, 5 courses, both of them require 3 courses that are mandatory. For the first program, that will be digital thinking and for data analysis, analysis and modeling, and complex systems. In digital thinking for data analysis, we go into using programming languages to analyze data, in particular Python. In data analysis and modeling, we go into more the mathematical components or knowledge you need to have to analyze data. And in complex systems, we integrate the 2 techniques to analyze different kinds of complex systems. In terms of the complementary courses, we have 3, which are shared in both programs. Information visualization is how to present data correctly, create excellent charts, excellent data visualizations, but it's bigger than that. It's, well, what principles can we use to guide the colors we should use when presenting data? How can we create a story out of our data? How can we select the right visualization? How to present information better? Very, very interesting course. In scalable data analysis, we go into the fundamental cloud technologies we need to store and analyze data. And in the applied computational research, that's the project where you can bring your own data and use the techniques we cover in the other courses to analyze it, guided by a faculty lecturer. On the other side, on the data-driven decision-making side, as I mentioned, we go into 3 fields of analytics: decision science, which is all about optimizations; data science, which is how we can create machine learning or data science models with existing data to predict the future; computational intelligence, it's kind of an artificial intelligence course where we discuss the fundamental techniques and principles behind the techniques or the applications that are always or right now in the news, like generative technologies, artificial intelligence, image recognition. Well, we go into the fundamental components of those applications and discuss some of the ethical and legal implications of the use of these kinds of techniques and technologies. And in terms of the complementary courses, well, these are the same as the ones that that I described for the first grad certificate. If you decide to study the 2 grad certificates, one after the other, when you're studying the second grad certificate, you only will need to complete 1 complementary course in order to achieve the second grad certificate. So that means that instead of completing 5 courses for the second grad cert, if you have completed the first one, you will only need to complete 4 courses, the 3 mandatory and 1 complementary, which is a nice advantage if you would like to study both grad certificates. So you don't need to study 10 courses in total. You will only need to study 9 courses in total and get the 2 grad certificate degrees. In terms of the tools we use, primarily Python with several specialized libraries that are for data science, decision science, complex systems. So we bring those into the picture and we show you how to use them. We also use Excel for certain courses. There are certain applications that are more easily created or developed using Excel. So we use Excel for that. We use Excel for data visualizations just because it's a widely used tool. So you can transfer the knowledge to your company in a very easy way because most companies already use Excel. So we integrate Excel whenever possible to facilitate the learning process. And in terms of cloud technology, we focus on Microsoft Azure. We also use other tools as complementary or supplementary tools. We use simulation tools like VenSim. We cover SQL for certain applications, and we use Google Colab to standardize the development environment for all the participants. So it's very complete in the sense of using tools that are relevant in today's job market and going deeper into certain specialized topics and certain specialized uh, tools like VenSim that can add another nice added value to your profile after completing these grad certificates. Just quickly to give you an overview of who is regularly teaching these courses and who has participated in the development of these online courses. We have here's some names and some of their areas of expertise. More than going into the names, I just want to highlight that all of our instructors have advanced degrees connected to the topics they teach. Multiple of them have other certifications or other credentials that are relevant for these topics related to risk management, related to decision science, for example. And you can be certain that you will be in good hands in terms of the expertise level and the credentials of our instructors. Although I cannot guarantee that an instructor will deliver a certain section, but this just gives you a good idea of the kind of the caliber of the instructors that are working in these grad certificate courses and will be helping you in your learning journey. In terms of the roles you can take after completing these grad certificates, well, you can work as a data analyst, decision expert, policymaker, analytics developer, program manager, and here other lists of more specialized roles. One thing that I want to highlight, if you complete both grad certificate, you will have a very good understanding of the range of techniques that can be applied to many different kinds of problems that require data or can be used for data analytics. So that's, I think, one of the biggest benefits. It's not a narrow program that specializes in one single role or application. These programs take more of a generalist view where we do explore a wide range of applications and methods and tools. So it allows you to have a more comprehensive view of everything that can be done with analytics. So that's definitely one of the main advantages of starting a program like ours, and the advantage that you will be able or the added value that you will be able to provide in all of these roles with the knowledge that you will acquire. You will have a vision that is not common because it does require studying different topics from different perspectives. But well, that's one of the main advantages from an application point of view that you will gain from these programs. And connected to this high level view and comprehensive view of analytics, there is a new certification that was designed by the same organization that I mentioned at the beginning when I was talking about the definition of analytics. This is called the CAP-E, which means Certified Analytics Professional Essentials. And basically, this new certification covers the whole range of analytic applications, the whole range of principles, knowledge, and it's an exam that if you complete both grad certificates, you will be in a very good position to achieve or clear, and could be another addition that you could explore for your professional development after studying with us, as a way to keep improving your skills and keep adding certifications and validation to everything that you will be learning and you will be studying. I can tell you that I already completed this certification. It's very interesting. It's very well aligned to everything that we are teaching in our grad certificate courses. It's challenging, but if you develop the expertise and in our grad certificates and then study a little bit more, I'm confident that you will be in a very good position to take the certification and show it as part of your LinkedIn profile and as part of your CV, because it's another validation of your expertise and your skills, and it's definitely relevant in terms of um, connecting business application with specific methods or techniques from analytics. So that's another nice thing and another thing that is happening in the industry that you can look into. And definitely, if you are interested and are new, well, what I will highly recommend is that you first study the grad certificates and then try to take the CAP-E exam. We have done a matching analysis of what we cover in our grad certificates and what is covered in the Informs CAP-E exam. And honestly, the alignment is quite strong, and you will be very well prepared to continue with a CAP-E certification if you would like after studying our two grad certificates. And just to give you a list of topics that are covered in the CAP-E and are also covered in our grad certificates, although this is not extensive, all the things that are that do overlap, but just to give you an idea, well, descriptive statistics definitely is something that we cover in detail, and I mentioned as something that is important for anyone working in data analysis and data analytics. This information visualization or visualization, metrics of centrality and dispersion, chart types, regression modeling, simulation and optimization, databases and their structure, data types, biases and ethical issues. Well, all these are topics that are covered in our courses in the two grad certificates that are also covered or are that you need to know if you would like to take the CAP-E exam. Our courses are not CAP-E exam preparation courses. Informs offer those. Our courses are more about how to use all these things to solve problems. But learning how to do that definitely prepares you for the CAP-E exam. And just to finish and to give you some time to ask questions, I saw a couple of them as I was presenting. Well, this is just a reflection exercise. Imagine that in 1 year or 2 years from now, you are able to analyze complex data to design effective solutions, adapt powerful mathematical and computational techniques to diverse industries, and see problems to a systems lens. Imagine you have all these superpowers. Well, what challenges would you tackle for your that are necessary to solve in your organizations, in your cities, in your communities? That's, I think, the main objective of coming to these info sessions and study our programs. How can you develop all these skills to solve interesting challenges, pressing challenges, with the right techniques, being certain that you are doing the right thing, that you are proposing the right solution, all with the assistant lens, which is one of important skills that we will need in the future as complexity increases across the board. Well, I leave this question for you to reflect and to think what things motivate you, what things you think are worth solving. We are here to provide you with the tools so you can solve them. And with that, we have a few minutes for questions, which is great. Robert, are there any questions that we have received that we
Phenomenal presentation. Phenomenal presentation. Before I get to the questions, there's just two for now, and we'll give some chance for people to kind of put it in the chat, whatever questions you have. So one of the questions is the course syllabi, the course outlines for these courses, are they posted on the website? I've answered no, but I do know you are accessible if there is any type of questions, or the domain is, if you want a little bit more in depth about certain content, or a little bit more than I think the wonderful presentation. I think they can reach out to the technology and innovation domain, the
correct?
tni.ss. Yeah.
You are absolutely right, Robert. We do not post them, but I'm happy to meet with you, or I'm happy to answer questions by email regarding particular courses that you would like to understand in more detail, what specific topic we're covering there, or if you have specific topics that you would like to know more about, I can tell you in which courses we cover them, or if we don't cover them, and what else uh, can we do, or where can you study those specific topics. So yeah, happy to answer any question related to topics that you would like to know more about, or where you can study them.
Perfect. So during your presentation, you mentioned that it is possible to complete both graduate certificates. So 5 from the first one and carry over 1 to the second one and finish 4. The question in the chat, which I think is a great question, is it possible to finish the first grad cert, do the second one all within, say, a year, by doing maybe 4 courses in one cert in one term, and then 4 in the other, or 5 in one and 4 in the other?
Likely, that would be a little bit challenging just in terms of a workload perspective. It can be potentially be done assuming that you can take 3 courses during the winter, 3 courses during the summer, and 3 courses during the fall. The scenario 4, then having the summer off, and then 4 in these grad certificates, it wouldn't be possible just based on how we structure the course schedules. 3, and 3, reasonable but challenging. My suggestion will be more 2, 2, 2, 2, and 1. That would be, I think, the best from a workload perspective. If you're not working and you have extra time, happy to meet with you and see the particularities of your case. But we typically are more expecting part-time students, but we can explore some options for you. We might need to find complementary courses, but it's something that can be explored.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Perfect. So I'm waiting. I think I saw some bubbles. Someone is saying. How many courses are required in the case of a transfer from the first cert to how many from the second? Great question again. So it's not quite a transfer. It's 2 separate programs. You graduate with 2 different graduate certificates if you do both. So the first graduate certificate is 5 courses. 3 required and 2 complementary. You'll notice, as was presented, the complementary courses are common between both programs. So you're able to double count or transfer over 3 credits from the first to the second, leaving you with just 4 courses for the second. So in total for both of them, you'd have 9 courses if you want to do both of them.
Yeah. And your comment about having 2 degrees, 2 grad certificate degrees, it's very important. It's not a single program. You will have 2 different diplomas or certificates.
Exactly. Yeah, I think there's some things to highlight that make it a little bit unique, and one of them is you can't hide from data analytics. Data is here. getting ahead of the game and getting these tools in your tool belt is only going to help you professionally and even personally. There's no way around it. But what I think is interesting about your programs and the way you've structured it is you don't necessarily need, and I'll highlight again what you mentioned, you don't need a specific background. You could have a bachelor's of arts, education, science, philosophy, political science, and still be eligible to take the first graduate certificate and move on. And if you have this work training, there might be the possibility of jumping into the second one. So there's always something for someone that is kind of available to you. So that's something that's very interesting. I did want to mention that wasn't in the slide, but if I could just take 30 seconds of everyone's time, is that the next application deadline is October 1st for a winter admission. Now, the October 1st deadline is really to declare your interest. We will require from you official transcripts from your university when you apply, but we don't need that by October 1st. So you can apply to the program, and then you will have a window to provide, proof of English, transcripts, everything else that we need after the October 1st deadline. Once you apply, your file will be reviewed. You'll provide everything. We will do our best to kind of review everything and give you a definite answer as whether you're admitted. Normally, it takes about 6 weeks, but the key is not to miss the October 1st deadline. If you do by any chance, you can always reach out to us. There's the possibility of applying to a future term, still submitting your documents, and we can see by January if we can approve your registration as a special independent student. So you have time to set up for this upcoming winter time. Again, October 1st on our website. I'll put the link to, I'll try to find it, the areas or the two programs that were discussed here. You'll see I guess, the apply now button. You can just submit the application, complete that, do the payment, and then follow up slowly but surely into to what documents the admissions office needs. But it's, in terms of application, it's pretty straightforward, and it's pretty painless, to be quite honest with you, compared to some other programs.
Excellent. Thank you, Robert. I see another bubble.
The bubble's coming in. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like that the program is flexible and it's at night, so I don't have to stop everything in life to go and do this program. I can get better and still be able to manage and juggle everything. I think that's why the schedule is not, 4 or 5 courses in one term. It's just an overload mentally. You'll be exhausted.
Yeah, and we do have, on top of the live sessions, assignments, reports that you need to work on. So it does require more involvement than just the 3 hours, which is another advantage of these kinds of programs. It's an instructor guiding you to solve different problems, you having to work on your own with the data, with the tools, so you can really learn how to do these kinds of analysis and derive your own conclusions, and at the same time receive feedback in terms of confirming or adjusting your learning. So definitely, this is not an online course in the same sense as Coursera or all those platforms. No, this is a fully interactive online course where you have to work with colleagues, work with an instructor, solve challenging questions, write reports. But at the end of it, you will be able to apply the techniques and you will be able to use what you learn. You won't forget, trust me, because there are so many courses where you take the material and then 1 week after you completed the quiz, you have forgotten how to do it. No, in this case, you will develop long-lasting skills and expertise.
So I had mentioned it takes about 6 weeks to receive an admission decision. I meant when they've received all their file and they're able to review. I know someone in the chat put it took them 3.5 months. That is not normal if they have received all their files. We can take this offline. You can email me. I'll put my the program advising email. We can take a look at what the issue is. But in general, once they have all the documents, there is about 1.5 months they're able to kind of give a decision. But if you apply to a program and still don't hear anything, maybe we can push on your behalf. I'll put our email in the chat now.
Yeah, and I also have, I think,
as well,
some
program
emails.
Advising.
Yeah, you can reach out to us. We have a domain account for all our technology and innovation programs. Here you also see the program advising account. Robert is behind this account, as well as other colleagues that will be happy to provide you with any support and guidance you might need to select these programs and to start the process or to continue the process. And here you have my email account if you have questions related to the content that we are covering, the courses, the schedule, topics like that that are more related to the courses or the academic aspects of it. Happy to connect with you.
As well as finishing a grad cert or two here makes you part of the McGill community. You do convocation, you cross the stage, you get tapped by the president, formerly the principal, and everything. So you join a larger family on your CV and a larger community here, and we're always kind of here. And there are, again, as mentioned, other programs as well. This one, I think, is really where people need to kind of focus and pivot on. Data is where it is going to remain. Can't hide it. But if you guys have any questions, you're not sure, you have the contacts there, and you can reach out to us at any point. If someone doesn't have the answer, they'll guide you to the person who does or the department that does. So don't be shy. Ask away.
Absolutely. Thank you, Robert. Well, if there are no more questions, we're happy to continue the conversation via email. Now you have our contact information. It's been a pleasure. Thank you for all your questions. Thank you for your attention, and have a lovely day.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Robert.
Enjoy the afternoon.